Hey guys, so today I'm going to be making a jambalaya, and if you don't know, my family is from Louisiana, and so this isn't going to be exactly like the traditional jambalaya recipe. It's kind of just what I've learned, just cooking as I do. So the first thing first, we're going to use chicken base, diced tomatoes with green pepper, celery, and onion. You can get any kind, but I just grabbed those. I go to Harris Teeter's to shop, and they have a salad bar with peppers and celery. I got this smoked sausage. It's Cajun style andouille, and I got it. It's from a local company, and they had it on sale. Cholula hot sauce, long grain white rice. Don't use brown rice. Like, what are you doing with your life? I mean, I guess you can, but just don't. Cajun seasoning and oregano. Garlic, fresh garlic is best, but of course you can use the stuff that comes in the bottle, but it just doesn't have as much flavor, so I guess you would just have to use more of it. And a yellow onion. So now we're going to start cooking. Oh wait, this is chicken. So what it is just rotisserie chicken. I got the dark meat because that's what we like and it's more flavorful, but if you only like breast meat, that's totally fine. And yeah, this will just give it a lot of flavor, and it's a shortcut, so don't forget about rotisserie chicken. Now I'm going to show you how I put this together. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I slice an onion, but first I'm going to show you a trick. This is kind of unsafe, so what you can do to stop your board from slipping is take a paper towel, wet it, wring it out. Sorry, I keep kicking my tripod. But I got my paper towel wet. I wrung out most of the water. I'm going to put it on the bottom of the board like this. Put the board on top. You see? It's a lot more stable. So now I'm going to cut the onion. Yes, I use a big knife. Cut the ends off. Cut the root off. This is a juicy one. Cut it down the middle. Take off this layer because obviously this is the paper layer, but to also take off the first layer of skin because it's very rubbery. You see how it's just like, it's not as crisp as this bottom. So take that off. Try and get the rest of the skin. The way I cut an onion, and this is the way I've done it in any of the kitchens I've worked at, root at the bottom, cut all the way through. Keep that attached at the back, and then make slices all the way through, and don't go very fast. There's no rush here. And then now I take it and I cut slits here. Be very, very careful. Keep your fingers away. And I just cut here. This is called Frenching an onion, I believe, but it's just the way I've done it, and it gets them into a nice dice. And then cut all the way down. And so I usually stop here so I don't get any cuts on my hand. And then I won't throw this away, I'll throw it into the pot, or I'll chop it up. But if you're not comfortable cooking or cutting, then just put that over there and use it in chicken stock so you don't cut it, or you can slice it, you know. So now I'm going to take the bell peppers that I got off the salad bar, and they're in strips, and I'm going to cut them dice. So if you just had a whole bell pepper, seed it, cut the veins out, like these white parts here. This is the pith. Cut this out. And then dice them, just like I'm doing here. I don't actually like a lot of bell peppers, so I'm not using maybe as much as your grandma might have or something like that. But that's all I'm going to use, is just this little amount. I'm going to put it with my onion. I have my bowl here. I saute them all together. That way they have the same amount of time to color and the flavors blend together. That celery's diced just fine for me. Maybe I'll cut this piece. So you have this. Now onto the garlic. I'm going to show you one clove at a time. Here's this garlic. Here, no. Put it where it's like flat. Take your knife, smash, and the skin just falls right off of it. It's got a little of a bad piece. I don't like to waste garlic, so I just cut that little piece off. This part's fine. Because we smashed it, it diced really nicely. Usually I don't add garlic to my onions while they're cooking because it'll burn faster, but we're just going to saute these up, and I think it'll be fine because I'm not going to have it on a very high heat. So once again, you take it, you make sure it's on like a flat edge so it's not going to spin around or shoot out from under your knife. Put your knife on top of it. You smash it, and it just makes it a lot easier to peel. The skin will come right off. As I say that, it's like, no! Clinging for dear life, but... So now we have this chicken. It's got the skin on it. I'm gonna take the skin off but reserve it, and I'll add that, chop it up and add that back in later. Right now I'm just gonna take the chicken right off here. This is already cooked. It's a little bit hot. I'm just gonna shred it like this. Just pull it apart with your fingers. Hey guys, so now we're going to, you can see I put some butter in the bottom of the pan, and now we're going to saute our vegetables. So I'm going to take this, and we can hear a little bit of a sizzle, and that's what we want. So I'm going to stir these around, get them nice and coated. I'm not adding a lot of oil because the sausage has a lot of grease in it, and that's a lot of fat, which is what butter is, and it'll release a lot of flavor as well. So I'm gonna let these go for a little bit, and then I'll add the sausage in. So make sure when you're using a pot, you don't use a metal spatula, use a plastic one, or even preferably wooden. That's what I would prefer, but I don't think I have one here. We just moved, so, oops, cut that up, cut that up. Get this bell pepper chopped up a little better. So we're just gonna do this. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, not a lot, because again, the sausage has a lot of seasonings, but we want to salt them, and that'll help them soften up a little bit. So, stir that around. I have it on medium-high heat. This is an electric stove. I wish I had gas, but this is what I have. So like I said, I'm just gonna let these soften, and then I'll add the sausage. So now I'm going to add the sausage, and I made a little well, and I'm just going to put some of this in, and I'm going to spill it everywhere, of course, but I just cleaned the stove, so it's fine. And now I'm going to try and mix it up. So this is going to release a lot of really amazing flavor, and combined with the vegetables, it's just going to be so good. This is basically where all the flavor from our jambalaya is going to come in. And I'm gonna let this start to release some of its grease and fat, and then I'm going to add 2 cups of the white rice. And I'm gonna add this and toast the rice. So the rice is gonna actually be toasted up a little bit with the jambalaya, well, with the sausage and vegetables. Then when it gets to a really nice golden kind of stage, I'll add the liquid and let it cook that way. So it's totally different than cooking rice by itself in a pot. You really want to build the flavor because the rice will immediately start to soak up some of that fat and that flavor. So this is what we're looking for. Just make sure that sausage is diced up, not sticking together. And yeah, gonna let that go for a little bit, and then I'll come back when it's time to add the rice. Now it's time to add the rice. So I'm going to pour in, I just have it in a little coffee cup. And now we're gonna stir it. You want it coating all of those vegetables and that sausage. You want it to really, really be dispersed evenly throughout all your mixture here. And now it's going to start toasting over this medium-high heat. Once again, I'm using 2 cups. The vegetables have really gotten soft, and what that means is that they've released a lot of their liquid, and that's what the rice is going to soak up. So I'm just going to stir this around, keep going, and I'll come back when I have to add the liquid. And if you're wondering, what about the chicken? She's forgotten the chicken. That's what I'm going to add towards the end because it's already gotten juicy. So I'm going to add it towards the end when the rice is just finishing cooking. It'll still soak up some of that good chicken flavor. But remember, the liquid I'm using is also chicken broth made from chicken base. So the rice is still toasting, but I'm going to add some seasonings now. I have the Cajun perfect one. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Here we go. And also oregano. So I'm going to add a little bit into here. You can see about that much. And I really do eyeball most of my things. Some pinches of oregano. Oregano is a much stronger herb, so I'm not going to add a lot. And then I'm also going to add something that is not typical, but I love it. It's called Celery. So let me pull that out. It's an herb that I really got used to when I was living in Bulgaria. In Bulgarian, it's Schubert. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. It has such a great flavor. So now we're going to stir this in. So here are the tomatoes. So this is gonna mix. I'm gonna keep stirring it, making sure that all the rice is coated in the tomatoes, all the vegetables are melded together. And I might add a little bit extra Cajun seasoning, or you know what, actually I think I'll add a little hot sauce. This is Cholula. It's the chili garlic version. Now it's time for the liquid. That's one. Now we gotta do another one. Let's put this and a little extra for the Schubert. When you cook rice, it's 2 to 1. I'm going to add a little bit of extra because this is jambalaya. It's not a typical rice dish, as I've said, but this is going to give it enough liquid to really start cooking. And another reason I'm not adding the chicken is I don't want any chicken to like soak up anything like the skin. So this is really going to just be for the rice. I'm going to put a lid on it. After I bring it to a boil, I'm going to put a lid, I'm going to cover it, and it might take a little bit longer to cook than the normal 18 minutes, but we'll see. And I'm just going to keep an eye on the liquid ratio and make sure that it has enough liquid at all times, because jambalaya is kind of more of a wet dish. It's not a stew, it's not a soup, but it is a little bit more wet and creamy than just dried fluffy rice. So yeah, let's do that. And it's already starting to bubble a little bit, so I'll just go ahead and put the lid on. And now I'm just going to set a timer for myself, and it'll be about 15 minutes. And I'll come back and check on it and see what's what. As you can see, it's boiling away. I forgot to tell you that I switched the heat to low, because now I just kind of want to simmer it and cook the rice. I don't want to really do a hard boil the whole 15 minutes. So 11 minutes left, and we'll come back when it's finished and maybe add some chicken. Whew, I am back and it is smelling amazing in here. Let's give this a stir. It's been 15 minutes. The rice is still not all the way cooked. I can see just a little bit hard in the center still. But now I'm going to add the chicken. So remember, I have all this amazing chicken. I'm going to take the skin out because that's what I'm going to chop up and add later. But now I'm going to mix in this phenomenal chicken, which is just going to soak up some of that sauce and add to the flavor that the rice is going to soak in. So we've got, for protein, we've got sausage and chicken, which is typical, but no shrimp. Another good thing you could add is like, you can go cray and add like scallops to this. You could add crawfish, which I don't think crawfish is in season. Well, actually, crawfish could be coming into season right now. But I wouldn't add crawfish unless you're in Louisiana, because that's the only place that I ever eat crawfish. Unless you know you can get some like really good kind. But if you've never had it before, don't try it for your first time at like your local grocery store. You really need to eat it from a place that has like actually good crawfish. So I'm just going to pat this in, make sure that the rice has liquid. And I'm going to let it keep cooking for a little bit. Hey guys, so I just finished with the timer. That was an extra 5 minutes. The rice is still harder. Because it's cooking with a lot of ingredients, it's going to take longer than necessary. Or longer than usual. So I did try a little bit just to see where it was in the stage, and it needs a lot of salt. So that's what I'm going to add now. You never know how salty the sausage is going to be, and I'm using a Cajun seasoning. I don't know how salty that is, so the flavor of that part's pretty good, but it needed a lot more salt because you're cooking with rice. So I'm just going to stir that in. So I had to add about 15 or 20 extra minutes to the cooking time. Basically, I just did it in 5-minute increments, and then I'd come check it. I take a fork, I took a little bit, I blow on it, I try it, it's good. I munch on the rice until the inside is just as creamy, because I would try it every few minutes and it would have like creaminess, but then I'd get a little crunch at the end, and that means that the rice is still not cooked. So now it's fully cooked. I've turned the heat off. It's very, very hot, but it smells amazing. The flavors are just right, so just taste it, you know, make sure that it still has a good amount of salt. I don't like a lot of salty food, so my husband might actually add some salt to his, who knows, but now we're just gonna finish it off. I've turned off the heat and I'm gonna serve it. Okay, so I just added the chicken skin that's here, and I'm gonna stir that in. It's just a different texture, a little something soft but also a little crisp. And I'm just gonna stir it in. Okay, so here is the final dish. It's got some 2 rolls, which I'll link in below. They're just frozen dinner rolls. And it's ready. So I hope that you try this and enjoy it. Hey guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if you try this recipe. I'd like to see how it worked out for you. Bye!